Peter, if you'd like to work on something, we can certainly do that tomorrow. We could schedule a one-on-one if you need any more. Okay. If there's no other
It
questions.
asked me to, you know, put in a credit card and all that stuff.
No,
to get in.
don't start the free trial. We don't need to do that. If you just go to the sign in and create an account, you won't need to put in the credit card. Again, we get these images for free. So let's use what we have at our disposal before we start. You know, if it's something that you really enjoy and you'd like to pay, certainly you can do that. But for our purposes, we're utilizing the free services from this site.
No other questions, Brenda.
Okay. So now I'm going to hand it off to Andrew.
Okay, and I'll share my screen. So yes, today let's go over what to do to create a blog. So I guess the beforehand we'll even go over. I'm sure most of you know what a blog is, right? It's just a website that has some information on it. Really, in a way, Facebook is one big blog, right? It's oftentimes very creative, or it's just a landing page that has some kind of information on it. And if for our sake, the purpose of creating it on MyWeichert really will be to entice people to come from Facebook or from an email, and to entice them to click on a post or a link and then draw them to your website. So you want to give them, something that entices them to go to your website. So you want to give them like a nice blog to look at, something that seems interesting to them. So being that it's spring, right? We thought about ways to do something about spring cleaning, about something, ways to declutter. So that's what I want to show you what to do now, how to create a blog about spring cleaning, which you then can post to Facebook, or you could send out, via email, via mass email. So the first step, of course, first step really was to get a picture. I think that's always a nice first step. And that's what Brenda showed you, right? You go to Adobe Stock, you get a royalty-free picture, so you don't have to worry about any licensing issues. That's always very important, to stay away from any copyright issues. You get a picture, and then you take a look at those pictures on Adobe Stock, and they will give you some inspiration about what you might want to blog about. Once you get that picture, then you want to go over to MyWeichert. So we'll log on to MyWeichert. And again, the way to do that is you always type in my.weichert.com. And then on MyWeichert, on the left-hand side, look for the one that says Web and IDX. I'll give it a second to load completely. So click on Web and IDX. And I'll go through all these steps real quickly one more time after I do this, the first walkthrough. I'll go over them generally one more time. On the right-hand side here, you see where it says blog posts. This little area here, click toward the right where it says add post. You're going to click on the blue add post button. And that's going to pull up a window here. This is where we can design our blog. And it's a little bit like, for those of you who've worked with Microsoft Word or any other kind of Word, making an email, it's a little bit like that. The content section here contains some commonly seen things before, like you can change. You could select the style of font. You can select the size of the font. You could create, you can make the font in bold or italics. It gives you a couple of different options. And then in the middle here, this is where you put the body of the blog. It's just like making an email. In this case, you could also add a picture. So let's create one right now. And again, what I'm doing right now is one that you can copy. This is for this sake, it's a little bit formulaic. But going forward, you can make a blog that's completely on your own, that's creative. You don't have to just follow what I'm doing here. Right, so I'm going to start, and I do have a little, I've done this, I already have my blog selected online, so I want to make sure that it all kind of is the same. So I'm going to take the same information from a Word document that I have pre-made here. So at the top, we'll type in something like, it's spring cleaning time. Here are 5 tips for minimizing clutter. A good tip for making blogs is using these numbers, like 5 tips, six ways, 7 ways. You've seen those kinds of blog headers before. They tend to get engagement. If you could give either bullet points or you give like numbered points after that. People like to know, like, here are 5 ways to accomplish something, right? So over here are 5 tips for minimizing clutter. So this is like we'll say this is the header. After that, if I hit enter once, I can add a picture. So this is where we could add the picture, that Hello Spring picture that Brenda just downloaded. This little icon to the right, I guess it looks like a little picture, like a little portrait, little landscape portrait, all the way to the right. Click on that. And that pulls up a little window here where you can upload an image from a computer. So you click on the tab here that says upload. And you click on, you can either drop an image here or you can just browse for the image. I'm just going to browse for the image. I'm going to click on this button right here. And then you have to know where you saved it on your computer. And I saved it here in my downloads, and it's right here, Hello Spring. So when you save the picture, just make sure you name it so you know which one it is. Hello Spring, click open. And then here's a tip on MyWiker. Don't worry about what the source says, and don't really worry about this image description field. But where it says dimensions, this first number here, this field to the left, right now it says 4711, change that. This is the size of the picture. We don't want the picture to be very, very big. If I kept it at this size is going to be huge. So a good rule of thumb I found is to keep it like, we'll say 250. So I'm going to type in 250 and then hit OK. And that's the picture right there. Puts the picture at that size. I can make that even big. If I want to make that a little bit bigger, I can click on the picture, go back to the insert edit image, and I can change the 250 to like 500 and hit OK. And see, it changes, it keeps the proportions as long as you change the first number in the dimensions field right here, and then you hit OK. I'm going to leave it at 500. I think 500 is a pretty good size right here. I'm going to change, this is just like with an email or Microsoft Word, where you could change the size of the font. You could change they could change the style of the font. So I'm going to change the it's spring cleaning time. There are 5. I'm going to make this bigger. Make it, I don't know, make it 18. I'm also going to change it. I don't really want to use Verdana, so I'm going to use Helvetica. You can use whichever kind of font you want. I'm also going to use bold. So it looks like that, right? Very similar to when you make something in an email. There aren't a whole lot of bells and whistles here to make it all too complicated. It's just if you want to, change the style of font, change the size, and if you want to either put it into bold and or italicize it. We'll leave it at that. And then, so that just gives it like a little bit of a header. We'll get to the title in a moment. I'm going to do the title at the end of it. So then after the picture, hit enter. And now is where you can start putting in the content for those 5 tips. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to refer to my document that I have pre-saved here. And this is actually not a bad idea if you wanted to put it into a Word document first and then copy it over. But you don't have to do it that way. You can just type it out all together at once, just directly in here in MyWiker. I just did this because I have it saved ahead of time. And so really it's simple. I did it this way, where I literally typed in the number 1 period and a parentheses, only because they do give you the option to use numbered list. But if I do a numbered list that way, you'll find that you can't increase the size of the actual number. You could increase the size of the text, but you weren't able to increase the bullet size. And I want to make sure that the numbers, the size of the number gets increased along with the text afterward. So I found that just by putting in the numbers this way, this works just as fine. And all I did was I typed out, I along with some help from Heather and a few other people, we got some information here to put some content in. This is all stuff you don't have to just do 5 tips. If you had 4 tips or if you had 6 tips, whichever, whatever you want to think about when it comes to spring cleaning, right? When it comes to decluttering your home, especially when the weather gets nicer out. If you have something else to add to this, or if you want to take something else out, this is all customizable. It doesn't have to be formulaic. I'm just giving you this as kind of like a template. But going forward, this is the sort of thing you definitely can be creative about. And that's why looking at the pictures on that Adobe stock page really can help, because sometimes once you get a picture from that, looking at the pictures might give you inspiration about what you want to write about. So this is really, this gives you a chance to be a bit creative, to think about what you want to say. This will, number one, host a garage sale or a yard sale, right? We all know that. How about donating to an animal shelter? That's always a great idea, right? Animal shelters, they need towels, blankets, sheets. That's a perfect way to declutter. On Facebook, they have Marketplace, which is kind of like an eBay on Facebook, or it's kind of like a garage sale on Facebook. And on Facebook, you can also join groups like the buy nothing group. You can here's a link, and you could put the link directly into here. You don't have to use the chain link like we did last time. You could put the link directly into your content, and that link will be clickable. So a person looking at this can click on this Facebook Buy Nothing Project URL, and they'll link to that site on Facebook, and it'll take them to a page that tells them about how you could just give away some of your stuff for free, and who people are looking for things. You don't have to do a buy or sell tactic. It could just be people are looking for something. You're looking to get rid of something, and you could connect that way. And then, of course, number 5, which I really like, this idea that have your family help out. Go through, have everyone in your family go through their own space and see if they have anything that's really is trash or stuff that they don't need, and have them pitch in and throw stuff out on their own. And then you can have everyone in your family kind of have a little bit of fun with it, right? 5 ideas. If you had more, you could add to them. If you wanted to put different things in, that's up to you as well. The gist of it is you have something at the top, a little bit of a header. I recommend at least 1 image in a blog. It doesn't have to, you could put more than 1 in, but the nice thing about, MyWiker is it does give you the option to put in pictures. Again, make sure you're using a either your own picture that you took on your own, or a copyright-free, royalty-free picture. You can't just go to Google and save any picture you see. You gotta make sure that there is no license behind it. That's license free. And then, of course, you could change the font size, and you could change you can make all of this a little bit bigger and bold. So let's do that. So the way to do that is you simply, after you type everything, just select it all, right? Click on the B to bold it. I'm going to change the kind of font. I like Helvetica, make it Helvetica. And I'm going to make this, I don't know, maybe I'll make it 24 font. Well, that's too big. Make it 18. There we go. That's it. This is the blog right here. Now we have to name it. And I think one way to do it, I did here, how to declutter your home. Or you could say how to minimize clutter, spring cleanings, whatever you want the title to be. And just you have to have some title here, right? And this is what's going to appear at the top of your blog. So how to declutter your home. All of this is very creative, and all of this is something that is really going to be more or less what you want to do. And when you're ready, at the bottom here, you see where it gives you the publish date. So you can make this kind of blog. You can make this so that it gets published later in the month. That's also helpful for people who want to put out newsletters. So if you want to put out a newsletter every month or every 3 weeks, you can do those ahead of time, and you could schedule them. And if you would just click on the little calendar icon here to the right, and that pulls up the little calendar window, and then you could choose the date that you want it to be. You say, well, maybe it'll be in April, so you click on the down arrow and you would choose the date, April 7th, right? We'll do April 7th, and then over here the time that you'd want it to be, 10:20 a.m. You can make it be, I don't know, I don't want it to be at 10:20. I want it to be at noon, so 12. You just have to scroll around here, 12:00, or let me do 00 p.m. right? So this would go out April 7th at 12 p.m. Over to the right here, they give you a couple of options. You either could save this as a draft, or you could click publish now. If you have this set ahead of time, clicking publish now simply sets it up to publish on that future date. It will not publish it immediately. All right, so if you do have this set for a future date, you would still click on publish now and it will publish it in the future. If you want it to go right now, you just change the date. So you would go back to March 26th, and of course you have to change the time. It's around 10:30, so I would say 10:30 a.m. right, and then you would hit publish now. I actually already have this saved, so I'm not going to click on publish now because I don't want this to duplicate on my end. So I'm just gonna. But if this here is a blog that's ready to go out. If I were to hit publish now, I'd publish this and it would go to my website. So in fact, let me show you that. So let me click X out of here. I guess I'll keep this open. I'll just go directly to my website. This here is my blog at the top of your website. So I went to my website, and you can get to your website. I guess I do have to hit X out of here. You can get to your website at the very top of My Weichert. There's your email here. All you do is you click on your email at the top. And 2 things down, you'll see your own website. This is the URL for your website. You click on that. And that brings you to your own website. And then to the right, you'll see a few buttons here. It says search cell, your agent. You'll see one that says your agent. You hover over that. You hover over the one that says blog. That's what's nice about this is you don't have to add anything. As soon as you hit publish the blog, your blog will get put here. So underneath your agent blog, you click on blog. And the most recent blog post that you made will show up here. And that's what I have here. 5 ways to declutter your home. That was the title I made for it. And here you see it's spring cleaning time. Here are 5 tips for minimizing clutter. Here's the picture. And here are the 5 numbers that I put there. And at the bottom will be your contact. And this is the link that I put in. This link is clickable. So if somebody were to go there, they clicked on the link, that will bring them to whatever link you have there. In this case, it would be the Facebook Buy Nothing Project website, which is a really nice site to take a look at. I recommend people to do that. But this is the blog, and this is the kind of thing you can make for. I had somebody bring it up the other day. They said that you can use it for make recipes, right? You can make a blog about recipes. You can make a blog about. You could do like maybe a number of tips about staging a home for to put on the market for people who want to know how to do that. Maybe you could think of like 5 or 6 tips for that. You could think of, now that it's spring, you could think of maybe you could find a picture of a garden, and you could say, here's some tips for tending your garden, which I actually would hope that one of you will make and post and send me the link, because I'm always looking for gardening tips myself. So I do look forward to reading one of those and turning my brown thumb green. So this is a nice little tool that I don't think a lot of people knew about on My Weichert. And it's a nice way to link, because we'll be showing that in a moment here. It's a nice way to link people from an email or link people from Facebook to come to your website. Because the whole goal, it's like drawing people into a store. Imagine that your website is like a store. You just want people to walk through the door. Once you get them into your store, then they can go to all these other departments within the store, right? And that's really the goal. That's really the key as the goal. So you just want to draw them to your website, to your store. And so let me quickly go through the steps one more time, how I even got to make the blog. So on the left, once you log on to My Weichert, on the left hand side, click on Web and IDX. And then over here to the right, blog post. Oh, and also once you make a blog post, you'll see that it will show it to you here. It will show you the last post that you made, and it will show you the number of blog posts made. So you can click on View Posts, and you can edit the blog post that you've already had. So that's always nice. You could edit that. What you make there is not set in stone. So you can always go back to the View Post, and that brings you right back to the to the post that you have. It'll show you the number. If you have, let's say you have 5 posts here, you'll see all 5 of them. I only have the one. To the right, you click on edit, and that'll bring you up. That'll bring up the window again for the blog post, and you could change it. You could edit it, or you can just leave it be. I'm just going to leave it be. Click X. But again, so you go to the web and IDX. That brings you to the blog post to the right. I clicked on add post, and that's where you can add the post. And then once you put in the title, you put in the content, very possibly including a little picture. You change the formatting of it. You get it to look just right. You either decide to publish it right then and there, or you set it ahead of time, and you click publish now. And once you click publish now, that's it. It'll get published to your website. So
Andrew, there's a question. If you publish several blogs, do they all stay there, or do they get deleted after each new blog?
no, they'll
post?
stay there. Yeah, they will stay there.
And another question, how often should you blog?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, the point is to pull people from another site like Facebook or like an email and come to your website. So you want to keep it up regularly. If you are doing a newsletter, newsletters I would say are either, they could be anywhere between a weekly, bi-weekly thing. I have an agent who does, I think, a newsletter once every 2 weeks. She sends out a newsletter, so that's up to you. A lot of the blog stuff is going to be creative stuff, but the goal, and not just with blogging, but the goal with a lot of stuff with My Weichert is follow-up, right? So you can't just make one blog, do it one time, and that's it. And again, it's also like whatever content you put in there has to be relevant, or at least catchy content, right? You got to get people, you want to catch people's attention. So you have to put out content on a fairly regular basis. I know that's a little bit of a fence sitting kind of answer to that question, but I can't tell you got to do it every day or every week, but I would say you want to make follow-up on a regular basis. Once every week, once every other week.
Great, thank you, Andrew. Okay, we're going to move along now to Patty Sloan, who is going to share.
I have a question.
Oh, okay, Kathleen, I'm sorry.
When someone sees the blog on Facebook or on your email, what do they have to do to be redirected to your website when they see it? Anything?
No, they'll just, if it's on Facebook, and actually we'll be showing you that in a second, when they go to either Facebook or from email, they'll just click a link.
On your message?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you have to put a link in there for them.
On Facebook, you'll see it. Patty will show you that in a second. We'll show you how to do that in a second.
Same with emails then?
Yep.
Okay. Good.
Email's a little bit different. In an email, you will have to put in the link. And the link here is the actual URL at the very top of the page here.
Okay.
That will be the link. You'll actually copy that and insert that URL into a clickable link for your email.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
And we'll be showing you that in 1 second. We'll be showing you that in 1 second.
Thanks, Andrew. Okay, now we're going to move along to Patty Sloan, who's going to show you how to take the URL and to put it onto a Facebook post. Thanks again, Andrew. Patty, you're muted.
Patty.
Okay, sorry about that. Good morning. All right, so as Andrew said, you need the link in order to put it into your emails to send out to everybody in your Smart CRM. There's no reason not to with this particular title. All right, so you would go to your website. And what I did is I went to Andrew's here. So here's his blog that he just wrote. You're going to come up here and you're going to copy, highlight, right click and copy the URL. So now it's on your clipboard and we can use it several times, okay?
I have a question, Patty.
Yeah,
That URL is on your website under blog?
yes,
That's the only way you can get that?
correct.
Okay,
So you would come into your website, you go down to the blog, and that's the URL that you're going to use.
and when it's on your website and you create more blogs, will they each appear there? And will they each have a different link?
No, if you have your blogs all under one section, you're going to see a list here. So they would
Okay.
actually be able to look at whatever blogs you have up.
Okay.
Andrew just has the one at the moment, but
I
when
only
you
had
have-
the one. I only had the one here. If you had more blogs, you would click on next. There would be a second one, and then that would be a separate. That
Right.
would be a separate blog URL.
And can you remove them also from your blog?
yes, you can remove them.
Okay. How do you just hit enter? You just delete? Do you just, what do
No,
you do?
Kathleen, you have to do it in the KV core system.
Good enough. Okay.
So you have to go back into your IDX and delete it from there.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Okay, so we've copied the URL. Now we're going to go into Marketing Autopilot. And we're going to go over to schedule a mass email. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select different statuses because I really can send this to anybody. So I'm going to send this to my prospects. I'm going to send it to leads I'm already cultivating. And then I'm going to maybe send it even to my clients because now they need to definitely do this if they're selling their house. So you can pick 3 different ones here. You could do it by hashtag. If you wanted to just send it to a certain group that you have hashtagged, or you can do it from your saved file filters from your Smart CRM. So you have different choices of how to pick the groups that you want to send it to. Okay, down here, I'm going to schedule the day. So I'm going to send it today, but I'm going to do it a little later this afternoon. So I'm going to post it at 4:30. I'm going to now, in here is going to be my subject, which is Hello Spring. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to put in the image. And again, like Andrew said, I'm going to drop this down and not make it so big. And then underneath, I'm going to put springtime is the perfect time to minimize the clutter. Click here for some great tips. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the insert a link here. I always call it the sideways 8. I'm going to paste the URL I already saved. Going to put getting ready for spring. Up. Okay, so now I've created a very quick email that's going to go out to hundreds of my contacts at the same time. I'm going to make sure that I include my signature. That way they're getting all my information under this. It will come down right underneath. All right, and then all I have to do is hit schedule. Did I forget something? No, okay. Sometimes I forget the subject and it doesn't let you do it without a subject. Okay, so 2,200 plus are going to get this email later this afternoon. All right, that took us all of what, 3 minutes? Okay, if you have everything prepared, it's very quick to do these. Now, the other thing we're gonna do now, I'm just gonna X out of this because some of these are not my people. I do not want them to go out. But the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna post it into a Facebook page. You wanna be on your business page. All right, again, I'm gonna put a photo in. And I'm gonna use that same theme, the Hello Spring. Okay, and then I'm going to write in here, spring is the perfect time to clear out some clutter. Click here for some great tips. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and, oh, gotta get in there. Paste my link, which is still on my clipboard. And now it's ready to go. Quick, simple, and easy. And you just can go ahead down and post it. And then once your post comes up, you're going to share it in your groups. Okay, so you can share here to your different groups that you might have. You can share it to your personal page. All right, and then people will click on your link and they will be back in your website and looking at the information that you're sharing. Okay, now most of the websites are set up with a default for the pop-up. So they can look at this, they might look around at something else, and then the pop-up is going to come up and ask them to register. So if they haven't already registered on your website, if they do it now, it will immediately go to your dashboard. And then you'll know that that person, it might be interested in selling because they're interested in cleaning up a little bit. And it just gives you another reason to reach out to them and start a conversation. So it's kind of simple. If you prepare yourself, you have to have everything ready. So you've written your blog, you've put it into your website, you're going to copy your URL, and then you can go ahead and post it to Facebook. You can post it in an email and send it out to your prospects. Any questions?
Can I add a, if I wanted to add an MLS link in here, is that allowed?
In
If I
Facebook?
wanted to add, no, into my blog. Like I want to create an MLS link for, houses of the week, something like that.
Yeah, you can blog whatever you would like. Just remember though that if you hook something into the MLS and they're not available in a month or so, you might want to update that blog.
No, this would be just like a, if I wanted to do a newsletter, just to pop it out there.
Yeah, well, a newsletter is fine, but if you, like I said, if you want to do a link to the MLS, you have to kind of make sure that whatever you're linking to, if you're putting up houses, that those houses are still for sale in a little while, because it would be false advertising if you sent them to the MLS and that house wasn't available anymore.
Right, they would only be active homes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I would do it, it wouldn't be like set up automatically. It would be, I'd do it manually whenever I put out a newsletter. So I'd make sure they were active and then have some, homes of the week or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, your blog can be whatever you want it to be. There are some agents that they put their newsletter into their blog, and then out on Facebook, they draw people in by saying, I have an updated newsletter on the market, check it out here. So that you can blog anything you'd like.
Well, I'm thinking that this blog can actually be a newsletter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it seems like an easy way to put together a custom newsletter with, just things that I'm thinking and doing.
Hmm.
Okay.
Patty,
no,
if I
that-
can, sorry, if I could just add something. We don't really want to be sharing from the MLS because we're giving our information away, right? We'd rather it link from our MyWiker. So if you want to put something like that in your blog, maybe creating a squeeze page would be the best option. If you do a multi-property squeeze page and you can choose your area, whenever users click on that link, it will pull the active listing. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, that may be the best bet.
What about the coming soon listings? Can you do that? Oh, no.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Can we do a blog with the coming soon listings?
Did you do a blog with it? I don't know that I would want to. If I'm gonna do coming soon, I think I wanna, put that right into the Facebook. But
Okay.
you could blog coming soon. I'm thinking that you might even be able to blog exclusives and then have people go from Facebook in a, landing page to your
I
blog,
wasn't sure if we were allowed to
showing
do
them,
that on
current.
Facebook. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can get as creative as you would like. Just check with your MTS to make sure you're staying within the legal guidelines.
Okay.
Yeah,
thanks.
we don't want anybody to get in trouble, but yeah, blogging, you can put anything you want into your blog. It's just what you are telling people and what your links are that would have to be checked.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Brenda, I have a question around what you said. Can you create a link off the listings page in MyWiker? Yes?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. you could.
Absolutely. Sorry, I realized I was muted. Yes, if you need any help with that, Peter, or something you can do, let's schedule a one-on-one and we can work on it.
Cool, thank you.
Absolutely.
Patty, thank you so much. I hope everybody really enjoyed this presentation. All the MTSs presented beautifully. It was very informative. It was great for a lot of you agents who have never blogged before. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We hope you'll be on our next regional meeting. Patty, thank you again, Brenda and Andrew. And I hope you all have a great weekend. If any of you need any one-on-one training with any of the MTSs, please don't hesitate to call us. We'd be happy to set up a one-on-one with you.
Thank you, guys. Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Andrew.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good
Thank
weekend,
you.
everybody. Enjoy the
Have a good
nice
weekend,
weather.
everyone.
Exactly.
Thank you all.
Thank
Brenda,
Those door knockers today,
everyone.
guys.
Get those door knockers up. That's the way, Brenda.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Patty, isn't it funny how just before we went on, it happened just before.
I know.
Right?
It was like, oh my God.
Of course.
Always
It's a fire drill.
I was
always.
trying to get everything set up and I was like, no,
Yeah.
this can't be happening.
I had it open the entire time, so I didn't know. But then when you told me, I refreshed the screen, and yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that it got back up there. So it just made it easier.
All right.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
I
I'll see you soon. We'll talk soon. I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll have an email from each other really, really soon.
Yes, I know.
I hope not too many coming soons today.
No. All right, you guys have a good weekend.
See you
I'll
later.
talk to you later.
Right.
Bye.
Bye now.